Alright, so as you can see, since our Camaro doesn't want to play nicely, did a little research. I never really had one before, but figured they're getting reasonably priced now, so I try to get it. So I went and got a Yes Welder Professional Plasma Cutter. Got it off of Amazon, and we'll just rip into this thing and see what we got. Trusty tool. Comes with right off the bat, we got a 220 to 110. We have 220 in the shop, so we won't need him, but it's nice to know if you have one. What do we got here? Pressure regulator and little screen filter adjustment to keep your air clean going into the machine. Get in here. It's our ground clamp lead. This is our torch end, consumables. Pretty good. And then digging down in here. Here's the whole beast, huh? 110, that's weird. Little piece of hose for something. Here's our little machine. Let's just put your supply air in. Looks like we got amperage control. Ground lead connection. Interesting. Well, this is what you get in the box. Let's get it hooked up and see what it does, right? This ought to be interesting. Get the rest of this unwrapped and see what we got. Get an airline run over here hooked up, and we'll be back. Alright, so I got it all set up. I've been playing with it for a little bit. Just see how things are going. As you can see, I got my welding helmet. Good respirator, because you get lots of nasty fumes coming off cutting the metal. Pair of gloves. Probably want something better than that, but I like that. It works with me. I've been doing that for a long time, so works good for me. Hooking it up, getting it set up, super simple. Hooking the air up took 2 minutes. Getting it down. As you can see, I've been doing a little cutting. The roof is a little ajar. I gotta get some extra pair of hands to help lift it off there, but she's done there. And the 110 setting, it cuts through real nice. But when you get to the thicker stuff, like you get in here, you definitely want to go to the 220 setting with it, I think. And you can see here I started cutting this stuff off the firewall, and a lot of that needs more. This is slow cutting. It gets through it at 110, but it's slow going through that. Overall though, it worked pretty well. Likes about 60 psi. Seems to work pretty good. Might need more when I get up to 220. We'll try the 220 out next and see how that goes. All right, we're back. It's another weekend. I did some cutting, as you can see. Not much left of the old Camaro. Taking a lot of it to get it cut. Taking a lot to get it cut out, basically. I don't know if you've ever run a Sawzall before, but for any length of time, your hands will start vibrating. I'm bent over the deal for several hours doing some cutting, and well, the old back doesn't like it, so it's taking some time. Took another week here to get this thing done up, and more experience and use of the Yes Welder plasma cutter. It's pretty awesome. Did switch over to 220, and did switch over to 220, and running off that, I can run my compressor off of 110, and then it doesn't interfere with the limited amount of power I have in the shop. Cutting the thicker stuff worked better, definitely, on 220, with my air pressure running around 80 psi. I did burn up one tit doing a bunch of cutting, trying to get around these pillars where the metal's doubled up, stuff like that. I've got most of this thing cut up now. The only thing I got left holding the floor plane in is, you can see here, I just kind of got that spread chisel in there so I could spread this apart, but it's cut all the way down and around to the back. And I've got this nice cut line across there, and then down there I've got about a foot left to cut, about from here over to here, about a foot and a half left to cut with the old Sawzall. I did do some pre-cutting with the plasma around these brackets that reinforce there, and I also did that on this side too, and then came back with the Sawzall and cut through. Up in the footwells, the metal's really deep, and that's one of the hardest areas to cut through on the modern car unibodies. I'd say if you were buying something that was wrecked and you wanted to rebuild it, avoid finding something that's been hit in these footwells. That would be very challenging to repair. Likewise on that footwell as well, cutting through that area there takes quite a bit to get through there. Ripping down the sides, that was easy. Ripping along the floor here, real easy. There's a little bit of trick area here because I'm trying to save some of this. I know not all of this is going to go back into the Trans Am when I go to put this in. So I wanted to keep as much of this metal as I could, so that when we go to measure and mount this into the Trans Am, I'll have some metal to work with there. And again, the same on the both other side there. I've got it supported in the front off of these frame rails, which are temporary. They're going to get cut off. They're pretty much part of the floor structure in here. It's all going to cut off, but I figure once this is out, I can flip it up on its side, do all some nice fancy cut work with that, and a lot easier than laying under it, getting weld slag and everything in your face. Not a fun thing. This is cut nice and clean through here on there, and then I've got a few more body panels to cut up. The roof is section sitting over here, needs to be cut up, and yeah, as you can see, I did experiment back and forth. I went some of this was cut with plasma, and I cut pretty much this whole side off with the plasma, and it went okay. It was pretty good. And then on the other side, I did that all with the Sawzall, just to kind of see. Speed wise, I think the Sawzall, on the condition you have a good blade, quality blade, can rip through that pretty much quicker than the plasma could. And like I said, I had it around a 220, 55 amps, as high as it goes. But I think because the metal is doubled up, when it penetrates the first layer, your air pressure is splitting off between the seams of these and not giving you a precise plasma arc through there. So it makes it cutting through double up metal areas difficult and slower. can't get a clean cut. And then it would cut cleaner too if you took the time to grind the paint off of it. But we're not going to do that. That was probably part of the problem too, is, you know, you're heating up a spot, you're burning the paint off at the same time as you're cutting through. A lot of bad fumes. Make sure you have plenty of ventilation before you're doing that. The Sawzall just seemed to quickly go through things. Chop that side off pretty good. Now once we get the floor pan out of it and drop down, I've got it supported with the chain hoist up in the front, and I have a jack underneath with a 2x4 running across holding it, and there's very little weight left in this thing, and you can see how little is actually holding this on as we wiggle that around. Like I said, there's maybe about 1 inch of material here that needs to be cut, and then I got about 1.5 feet on that side to finish up, and that's out, and we'll finally get rid of this Camaro and move on to the fun, exciting stuff of the Trans Am. But we'll get some more cutting done and we'll come back with you. As you can see, a little bit of effort. There's the portion we need. There's the portion we don't need. Pretty interesting to see a car in this type of situation. So we can get a better view. Yeah. Definitely. Got some more cutting to do, of course. I gotta cut all this crap up and then haul that away. Alright, so as you can see from behind me, floor pan, empty garage. Except for, of course, the engine, stuff like that, but for the most part, Camaro's gone. What we do have is the floor pan that I wanted, but I don't need this section, this part, and these all have to be cut off. So I'm gonna have to, of course, finish removing the heat shields, take some fuel lines, brake lines off of it, and then cut. And this is where on the subframe on the Trans Am is gonna meet up here. Hopefully, come and replace that. And this will rest on top of that. And instead of bushing mounts on each side, it's going to be just straight welded to that. So as you can see, getting super excited because we got to extricate this beast from the other side of the garage, bring him over to this side of the garage, and start cutting that and fabricating on that, which is exciting because I'm actually going to see like progress happening, and it's going to be a lot of work to get all of this mess reorganized. But yeah, a couple more weekends and you'll see something else moving along. We'll get that thing tore apart. We got to sandblast it, see what we got from actual metal underneath it, and yeah, so like I said, super excited to see what's going to happen with the rest of this stuff. Don't forget to like and subscribe. That helps a lot. Of course, you know that. It's free to do. We'll see you in the next one. What are you doing in here? Go home. Wait, you have to wait.